celebration of unlimited possibilities, presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, 5-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Bernadette L. Harris. A little bit about her. Bernadette Harris is an award-winning tax and forensic accountant, best-selling author, and highly thought-out keynote speaker committed to keeping small businesses in business. As president of By the Book Accounting, she has helped hundreds of entrepreneurs across the country start, operate, and grow thriving ventures. Bernadette, a certified fraud examiner, earned a BS in accounting from the nation's oldest HBCU, historically black college or university, Cheyney University of Pennsylvania, and later earned her MBA from Keller Graduate School of Management and an MS in fraud and forensics from Carlow University. Bernadette has conducted workshops with the U.S. Small Business Administration and created several workshop series of her own. She has been featured on ABC, CBS, NBC, and other nationally known media outlets speaking on entrepreneurship and fraud prevention. So follow her and trust Bernadette on all social media platforms. Welcome to the table, the amazing Bernadette Harris.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I am excited to have you at the table. I know you're going to share a lot of wisdom and knowledge with my listeners. So would you please tell us, Bernadette, more about your entrepreneur journey?
Well, you know what? One of the things that I always tell people is entrepreneurship was never on my radar. I honestly thought that I was going to get a job and work for 30 years and retire like my mom did. I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. But I got bit by the entrepreneur bug in 1997. I was introduced to Mary Kay, and one of my cousins had just started Mary Kay, and I went to her party, and the lady had a pink Cadillac, and, you know, of course, we did the whole makeup and everything, and then at the end, they shared the opportunity, and she started talking about entrepreneurship through Mary Kay, and I saw something that I never even thought of. So the timing wasn't really right when I was at the meeting but probably about 12 months after seeing the opportunity, I did join Mary Kay, and it was my very first business. I started in 1998. And loved it. I enjoyed it. I loved the product. I loved working with the company. I loved the ladies that I met and just the people that I was able to interact with. But one of the things that I learned about it, you know, because I was an accountant and I knew how to keep up with my records, I knew the tax codes and all of that stuff, I realized that there was a lot of entrepreneurs that did. And so that business actually catapulted me into starting my accounting firm. And I said I wanted to start an accounting firm that would help other small businesses set up their businesses right, keep their records correct, stay out of trouble with the IRS, make sure they're getting all of their deductions. And so that's what happened. So here we are 18 years later, and I absolutely love being an entrepreneur and just being in the space that I'm in.
I'm loving your journey. I want to thank you for creating this space, you know, for helping us small business owners, helping, you know, everybody learn how important it is to stay on track and to have an accountant and to know your books and to file your taxes. So that's so important, right? Because I think a lot of people, sometimes people go into it and they forget those important areas to focus on as well.
Absolutely. One of my very favorite sayings is that businesses don't go out of business because they don't know how to do what they do. They go out of business because they don't know how to run a business. And there is a distinct difference between making a really great red velvet cake and running a bakery. And so one of the things that I do is I teach entrepreneurs how to run the bakery because they already know how to bake the cake. The cake is banging. So now I come in and teach people how to run the bakery.
How to run the bakery. For all of our listeners that are listening, that is so important. So, Bernadette, you have helped hundreds of entrepreneurs across the country start, operate, and grow thriving ventures. So tell us more about your passion.
So you said tell you more about my passion?
Yeah, your passion as it relates to helping, those entrepreneurs, operate their businesses from start to finish.
And I think, so Ashley, what it really boils down to is when I was bit by that entrepreneur bug and I saw the possibilities of entrepreneurship, I wanted that for everybody. I wanted, and I realized that everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not what everyone wants. It's not for everyone. But for those that want to be entrepreneurs, I really wanted that for people. Entrepreneurship changed my life. It gave me the flexibility to be available for my daughter. I didn't miss PTAs and chorus concerts and dance recitals. I was able to be present with my daughter as I was raising her and just be an active part of her life. I've been able to volunteer in the community. I've mentored girls. I work with nonprofit organizations. Just having the freedom and flexibility to do those kind of things. That's what fuels me is I want other people to do that because the studies show that over half of America hates their job. That's astounding. Half of the people that have a job hate their job. And if they could walk away from a job that they hate into a business that can sustain them, then that's what fuels my passion.
And I'm sure with the clients that you've had and just off the results that you help people probably walk away from their 9 to 5 to the full-time entrepreneurship. Can you talk more about that?
Right. And so one of the things about it is it's not a matter of just waking up one day and just deciding, hey, I don't want to be on this job, I'm going to quit. But really about creating a sustainable business, one that will be able to support you. And so it may be working a 9 to 5 and moonlighting at night and doing your business. And honestly, actually, that's how I started. When I started my practice, I was working. I had a full-time job. I had a full-time job for the first 2.5, 3 years of my practice. So I was working 8 hours a day for somebody else, and I came home and worked another 3 or 4 hours in the evening for myself until I was able to build my business to where I could walk away from that job. But I recognized that I had responsibilities. I had a child that I had to take care of. I had to take care of myself. I've gotten used to eating every day and sleeping indoors. So I couldn't just walk away and say that I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur. I had to do it when it made sense financially. And so that's one of the things that I help business owners with is understanding when is going to be the right time for you to walk away and helping them to create a plan to be able to walk away from their job and not be homeless or lose something that they worked really hard for.
And like you said, when it makes sense, right? Timing and making sure financially you're able to do it. So thank you for shining light into that area. So what are some strategies you would give to small business owners who are first starting out?
One of the things that I is you need a business plan, and it doesn't have to be a shiny 50-page document that's with no errors and all that. It doesn't have to be that, but you want to write a business plan. And I get people that ask me, can you write a business plan for me? And I understand, like, if you need a business plan to present to the bank, you may want a professional to do it. But if it's your business, you should be able to articulate what it is that you're trying to do in your business. And so creating a business plan just helps you to see if you have a viable business. Because creating that business plan is a plan that is going to make sure that there's a market for the services or the product that you're trying to offer. Like, are people willing to pay for the product that you're offering? Are you solving a problem? Because people pay for solutions, even if it's a fun solution. Sometimes, last night, my husband and I went out to dinner because we were too tired to cook. And so the solution that restaurant solved was we were hungry and too tired to cook. And so sometimes people think that the solution has to be, it has to be a medical problem, or it doesn't have to be. It could be something that you might not consider a problem, but somebody else does. And so essentially, business owners need to make sure that that they're solving a problem for somebody, and it's a problem that somebody is willing to pay for. So back to my example about going out to dinner, we were willing to pay for dinner last night because we were too tired to cook. And so business owners have to realize that sitting down and writing out a business plan, or at least taking the time to do the research on a business plan, might save you some time and some money, because if the research shows that it's not a viable business, you may save yourself the pain of starting a business that ends up costing you more than it yields,
Yes, and having that business plan is key. So thank you for shining light on that, because, like you said, sometimes people walk into wanting to own a business and start it, and they forget about the plan, right? And then, you make those different, of course, we're going to all make different mistakes or whatever, but, a business plan can solve, alleviate some of the mistakes that you can make, What are your thoughts on that?
Right. Absolutely. And that's exactly it. The business plan it's a roadmap. It's just like if you decided that you were going to take a road trip, and let's say your road trip had multiple stops. If you were doing a cross-country road trip, you would sit down and map out how many hours are you going to drive. Are you going to drive from this state to this state, and then when you get to this state, you're going to stop and you're going to spend the night. Well, if you decide that you're going to spend the night in Tennessee, then you're going to locate a hotel in Tennessee. You're not going to just drive and just randomly find a hotel. And when you don't create a business plan, that's what you're doing. You're just driving. And granted, some people probably do that, but that's pretty haphazard. It's like, you just never know. You don't know what you might end up in. You may end up in a neighborhood that's not favorable, or you may end up in a hotel that's not really nice, or maybe the hotel doesn't even have rooms available. You don't know that. And so the business plan is that roadmap that actually tells you, this is where I'm trying to go, and this is how I'm going to get there. Now, just like anything, if you decide to go somewhere, you may hit a traffic jam, and that's a mistake that we might make in our business. But it doesn't derail us. It just may delay us a little bit, or it may take us on a different route. But at least you have a plan. You have something foundational to say what it is that you're trying to do, and where you're trying to go.
So I know you brought up an interesting topic a couple months ago, Bernadette, and I want to touch on it tonight because it's so great that you shine light on that, because I know a lot of business owners use this, and I don't know if people are really clear on it because it does look suspicious, right? So what are some tips you would give to business owners about conducting business through Venmo or Cash App?
Yeah,
I know
this one is a hot topic. Yeah, yeah. That post got shared like 1 million times. Yes, and so Cash App it's an excellent tool. It is an excellent app that allows you to, your sister needs to borrow some money, and you say, bam, you go to Cash App and you send her the money right quick, and she gets it instantly, and it's done. But a lot of business owners are using the personal version of Cash App to conduct business. And the problem with that is it's a violation of the terms and services agreement. So most people don't read it. You know, when we download an app, when we create an account, it says, do you accept these terms? And we just click accept. Most people do. You know, there are probably a handful of people, probably the attorneys, who actually read the terms and services agreement. But in that terms and services agreement for the regular Cash App account, it's a peer-to-peer platform. And so that platform is made for loaning money to your brother or your sister or giving money to your kids, allowance or something like that. It's not intended to be a platform that you use to collect payments. Now, there is a business version of Cash App. And if you have the business version of Cash App, when you receive a payment on that business version of Cash App actually takes a fee from it. That is fine. If you have that version, that's fine. But if you're using the personal version and you're conducting business, you're in violation of that terms, the services agreement, and you are also putting your funds at risk. Because if Cash App decides that they see the activity on your account and it looks like you're using this account to conduct business and you actually set up a personal account, they can hold those funds. They can actually give those funds back to the people who paid you. So imagine that you're selling T-shirts. Let's just use that as an example. And you say, oh, just Cash App me the $20 to my Cash App name, and you got 50 people that all Cash App you $20 for your T-shirt, and Cash App says, hey, what's going on here? All these transactions, this looks like a business. They can basically give that $20 back to the people that you sold T-shirts to. Now they got your shirt, and they've been refunded their money. Now, 9 times out of 10, most of those people are not going to know who you are or care to find you to give you your money back. And so that's an opportunity where that's a situation where you put your business and your funds at risk because you didn't do it the right way. And so if you're going to use a platform like that, make sure you're using the business version of it. And, yes, there are fees associated with it, but those are the fees, that's the cost of doing business. And so if you're going to use those kind of platforms, just make sure that you're using the business version of those platforms.
I love that. And thank you for talking about that and really breaking it down, right? Because like you said, your post was shared. You probably was 1 million times. Because I think, you know, they saw Cash App and Venmo, and I was like, okay, this is, you know, let's see what she has to say about that. And I love that you shine light on that, because I think sometimes when people use Cash App or Venmo, it depends on the customer, and sometimes they do think it's suspicious, right? Even when you're using it from a business account, because it's still Cash App or Venmo. So what are your thoughts?
Right. Yeah, and I personally don't, you know, I have business Cash App accounts, but I try very, very hard, like, not to use them. It's only in a dire emergency. You know, I'm an adjunct professor, and one of my books is the actual textbook for the class. So I brought some books to class, and a couple of for the students to purchase, and one of the students said, "Can I Cash App you?" And I was just like, "You don't have a card?" Like, I would prefer to use a card. He's just like, "Oh, Cash App was just so much easier." And in that situation, I let him Cash App the $20 for the book to my Cash App account, which is a business Cash App account. So Cash App took their little fee, and I was in compliance with their procedure. But I personally prefer to use a merchant account like Square or Stripe or even PayPal. I'm not a real big fan of PayPal, but I'd rather see people use PayPal than Cash App, because it also gives an impression that you're not a real business owner. When I have if someone is selling something and they tell me that they take Cash App, that changes my impression of them. And I probably shouldn't, but I kind of, okay, so I'm just being honest, I'm kind of judging you. I'm judging you at this point because I'm just wondering, as an accountant and as a business strategist who work with small business owners, if you're set up to the point where you are asking people to pay you via Cash App, then I wonder what your accounting system looks like, if you're keeping track of this stuff, if you even going to report this on your tax return. You know, I just think about those kind of things, and those things, yeah, they put me in I stand in the seat of judgment. Now, I'm not saying I'm right about that, but that's just my honest opinion.
Right. I love that, you know, that you're honest about that, right? So for our listeners that are listening, just that's something to think about when it comes down to, like, you know, how people view you, depending on your systems, right? That's why we have to have the right systems in place. So thank you for talking, you know, more about that. As far as, I know we talked about earlier about, you know, have business owners making sure they have their books together and their accountants and, you know, their systems for their taxes to make sure that they're in good standing. So could you talk more about why that's so important that, you know, if you're not going to be able to do your accounting yourself, that you hire somebody? Why is that so important to have, especially at this time of the year, because we're getting ready to go into that season?
Right. And so you have to have an accounting system in place, period. You know, whatever your system is, and some people are comfortable with certain systems. I don't care. It could be as simple as a notepad. I have a client who is not computer savvy, but keeps excellent records. He uses a calendar, and that's his accounting system. And he keeps all of his stuff in his accounting in his calendar. So on his calendar, he has the clients that he's seen, how much did he pay, how much did they pay him. If he had to go to the store to get supplies, he has that on his calendar. And at the end of the year, he tallies it up. Now, will that system work for me? No, because I'm electronic. I like computer systems and things like that. But it works for him, right? So the first thing that I tell small business owners is find something that works for you. And because the last thing that you want is to get a system that's going to be hard for you and you won't do it. So you find something that works for you and you do it. The reason that is so important is there's so many reasons beyond just taxes, but taxes is one of the reasons. So let's talk about that first. You need it so that you can file your taxes, so that you have accurate accounting of how much money did you make, how much money did you spend. And so you want to make sure that you have a system in place for that. You want to have a system in place so that you know if you're making money. A lot of times people don't have no idea. I've seen clients where they base whether or not they have money on whether it's money in the bank. They're not taking into consideration any future expenses or outstanding checks or anything like that. It's just, I got money in the bank, so I can go swipe this card. And so having that accounting system in place allows you to see if your business is profitable, what you're spending your money on, where's your income coming from? You know, if you have multiple service offerings, which service offering is bringing in the most money? Those are important things that you need to make decisions in your business. And the biggest thing is when you think about if you're creating a business that you want to grow, you're trying to build a legacy, how are you going to do that if you're not keeping track of anything? You can't go to a bank and get a loan if you don't have financials. You can't if you want someone to invest in your business, you can't do that if you don't have financials. And so it's so many things that you can do when you have this type of, you have an accounting system in place. And it's really just a grown-up thing to do when you talk about being a business owner. There are some baby business owners who are operating and they're commingling funds, and we could talk about that. But they're commingling funds, or they're not keeping track of anything. And then there are serious business owners who have a separate business account, and everything for the business is going through that business account. They're keeping track of all of their income and expenses, and when it's tax time, they can file an exact return, and they're not saying stuff like I spent $200 on office supplies instead of $197. You see what I mean? So I can always tell the clients who have an accounting system in place because they don't have round numbers.
Right.
and the IRS knows that too. So if you're saying that you made exactly $25,000 and you spent exactly $12,000, yeah, the IRS is looking at you like, yeah, sure.
Right. So what are some tips you would give to small business owners to help them increase their revenue and get to the next level?
So before you can increase it, you need to know what you're making, and that goes back to having the accounting systems in place. And then once you have your accounting system in place, then you can look at ways to be more efficient. What are some of the ways how can I leverage technology to be able to do more with less? How can I leverage the efforts of others to be able to do more to do more, because making more money sometimes means working more. And so there's only so many hours in a day. There's only so much that you can do as an individual. But what can you do? How can you leverage technology to be able to make more money where it won't cause you to have to work more? What can you do? Can you hire someone else to do the first 5 steps of your 10-step process so that you can get more done? So you have to look at your systems and look at ways to be more efficient in order to create more income.
So for our listeners that are listening, those are some good nuggets to refresh yourself with or to know. So, Bernadette, you have created and built multiple tables for yourself. So how did you create your seat at the table?
That's a great question. You know what? I honestly don't remember it being intentional. I just remember that when I started the business, I think I told you when I started my accounting firm, one of the things that I wanted to do was to be able to help other people. But the other thing is I wanted freedom. I wanted the freedom to work as much as I want, which I enjoy what I do, so I work a lot. I wanted the freedom to control how much I made and not have someone tell me what I was worth. And so creating my seat at the table, it wasn't an intentional thing. It just kind of happened. I've always been somewhat of an overachiever. So I was always trying to be the best me, so the best version of me, I'm always trying to show up. And so I believe that being the best me is how I have been able to do that, by creating, as you say, multiple seats at the table. I like that. I'm going to have to use that one day.
Yes, because you built them multiple seats at the table. So get your own tables on top of that. So thank you for sharing how you have created your seat, because you have definitely done it. So Bernadette, we've talked about your journey thus far, and everybody that's listening, some people, don't handle the process, some handle it better than others, but the process is what helps us get to the next level. So what did failure teach you on your journey?
I always look at it as I either win or I learn. And I never really looked at it as failing. It was more of, okay, so that didn't work. What can I learn from that? And so my journey has not been easy. I think I sometimes I feel like I make it look easy, but it hasn't been easy. But what I have learned is, okay, that didn't work, and so now I know that doesn't work. So then I take, what did I learn from that, what can I take from that situation? How can I leverage that to be better? And so even when I think about the things that didn't go the way that I wanted them to go, the decisions that didn't turn out the way that I wanted to turn out, I've always been able to pull something from that. So some people may call it the silver lining in the cloud, but I've always been able to kind of pull something from whatever it is that, that didn't work that way. It's like, okay, so this didn't work that way, but what can you take from that to be better in another way? And so I believe that's kind of how I've dealt with quote-unquote failure. It's just taking something from that failure and figuring out how can I use that as a learning experience.
I love that you said is you look at it as you win or you learn, right? I like that. You do. You either win or you learn. It's a lesson. It's a lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I never think about it. I never really think about it like failure. It's just like, hey, okay, so that didn't work. Next time I know to do X, Y, Z, and I make that note, like, okay, next time we know when this opportunity comes or a similar opportunity comes, these are the adjustments that we're going to make.
Yes, and I like how you put that. Thank you for shining it in a different way, the win or learn. So you're very successful. So what did success teach you?
Wow, I've never been asked that question before. That's a great question. So success has taught me, when you say that I'm successful, it's almost like, really? Because I still have some stuff that I haven't done yet. So I feel like, success is one of those things where it is, it's ever evolving. And so even with all the things that I accomplished, all the things that I've done, there's still so many things that I still want to do that I haven't done yet. And so I'm forever reaching. I'm forever climbing. And so I don't feel like success is a destination. I feel like it's an ongoing process. And I think when we stop and we say, oh, I've arrived, or oh, I've reached that, that's the worst thing that you can do. And so success for me has continuously propelled me to be more, do more, give more. So, yeah, I think that's what success has taught me, is just to continue to be more for myself, be more for others, give more to others, and also give more to myself. So one of the things that I've had to learn to give myself is grace. Because I'm such an overachiever, and because I set such high standards for myself, when I don't reach them, sometimes I have to remind myself of grace. Like, it's okay. You'll get it the next time. So, yeah.
Giving grace, and I love that about staying humble and just giving, right? Because that's what a true successful leader does. They give, and they're a servant leader. So thanks for shining light on that, because that's the key to being successful, is when you're reaching back and pulling forward.
Yeah, I think that, if you're successful and you haven't helped anybody else to be successful, are you really successful?
Right. So what can we expect from you, Bernadette, the rest of 2019? We are in the fourth quarter, and I know you're going to finish strong. So what can we expect from you?
I am always doing something, always trying to, it's like, if you ask me this, you could ask me the same questions in 6 weeks, and I'll probably have a totally different answer. And so one of the things that I am working on is I am creating an online business academy, because what I found is that there's just a lot of stuff that I know that business owners don't know. And it's only so much of me to go around. Like, I can only have so many consultations. I can only coach and consult with so many people. And so what I'm doing is I'm creating an online academy for people who want to start businesses, want to run businesses, want to grow businesses. And in this academy, there will be different classes for different levels of business owners. It's going to take me a while to get all the classes that I want in there, and I know that the course selection is going to continuously grow and evolve, but the intent is I want to be able to serve more people, and the reality is the more that I do, the less available that I am, and so it's kind of a way for me to be more available and to take the knowledge and information, the things that I've learned on this 20-something-year journey of entrepreneurship, and be able to share that with other people in a very cost-effective way, So that's one of the things that is on the horizon. That's something that I'm working on right now. It's called the Business Blueprint Academy, businessblueprintacademy.com. It's still, like I said, we're still working. I'm looking to launch the first 3 courses in the next 3 weeks. So, yeah, I have a lot of work to do with getting the academy up. But I'm really excited about that because that's going to allow me to work with more people and increase my reach of people that I can work with.
Well, super congratulations on all the great things that you have going on. I know we're going to see some surprises that you probably didn't announce. But super congratulations
sure,
on everything. Yes. So please tell our listeners, Bernadette, how they can follow you on all social media platforms that connect with you.
So I am on all social media platforms. My handle is Trust Bernadette. So Trust Bernadette on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, even Pinterest. I like to cook. I'm a foodie, so if you follow me on Pinterest, you'll see all my recipes that I saved and stuff that I'm either going to cook or have cooked. But, yeah, you can follow me on all social media platforms. I will say that if you send me a LinkedIn request, to please personalize it, because if I don't know who you are or how you found me, it may take me a long time to get through. I think I have like 100 of them pending right now, and I haven't had time to go through them. But if you send a personalized one, then I know, those get accepted a lot faster. So if you send me a request on LinkedIn, please say, that you heard me on Ashley's show, and I'll definitely connect with you right away. If not, it's going to take me a minute because I just have to set aside time to go through all of those LinkedIn requests. And if they're not personalized, it just makes it even harder for me. So
for all of our listeners, make sure you personalize it if you want to connect with Bernadette on LinkedIn, okay? Please personalize it, as well as connect with her on all other social media platforms. She is someone to know, doing some amazing things. Bernadette, I consistently follow you, so every day you're doing something amazing, okay? So I just want to commend you for all the great things you're doing.
Well, thank you. And I do want to say this also, because a lot of times people think that I'm unapproachable, and I'm not. I'm real busy. I do a lot, but I still have one-on-one relationships with people. So if there's anybody that's listening, if you want to schedule a consultation with me, if you have a question, if it's about taxes or starting a business, I would really love to help you and work with you. You can go to my website for my accounting firm, bythebookaccounting.com. The first call is free. Go ahead and schedule a call, and I'd love to talk to you about whatever it is that you're trying to do to start your business. If you have questions about QuickBooks, taxes, anything that's related to starting, running, and growing a business, I would love to speak with you.
So definitely connect with her. Like I stated, she has the results, She is a hard worker. She's doing some amazing things, so definitely connect with her to all of our listeners that are listening. So, Bernadette, thank you for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to come to the table. This has been an amazing interview, and I can't wait to invite you back to the table.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for scheduling me. I know that you have lots of guests.
Working with you in the future and continuing to collaborate. So I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins-Marquis and John Schamberger. And I would also like to give a special thanks to author Kimberly McLemore and my intern Sarah from Tennessee State University and my intern Vontaria from Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.